Hello and welcome to the second video in this series documenting my PhD research at Bangor University, the creative artifact of which is this website called Anglesey: A Bridge Through Time. The first video looked at the home page, and here in the second video we're going to look at one of its principal features called the timeline. The timeline is accessible through this box on the home page and also through the mainline navigation on the website. So if you click on it here, it will take us to the timeline. This was one of the main features that we had always wanted to have in the website. We wanted something that was interactive, that told the story, the 12,000 year story of the island in a visually interactive way. And so you can see how this works. You simply grab and drag this cursor and the timeline moves through time. These colored bars that you see at the top correspond to 6 different eras or themes, and if you scroll down further on the page and some other browsers you can also see this in the top square, but in this browser you can't. So these are the 6 themes and the icons that are suggested by CADU, which is the Welsh Government's heritage agency, in their Pan-Wales interpretation scheme, which they introduced at about the same time I was writing the website. I think there are now 12 themes, and we had decided, along with Mentormon, we decided that 6 were relevant to the story of Anglesey. So we're using the CADU icons to connect them with other stories in the theme all over Wales. And we use these colored bars, and then you can see as you move through the timeline, when you change eras, it will tell you. And all of these also form links to the themes essays. We have 6 themes essays on the website. Together with the timeline, the themes give context to the heritage stories that are shown through key places pages. There's individual stories about heritage, and then there's these larger ones that sew together individual stories to create larger meanings. So as I say, this timeline has 93 different items that tell the 12,000 year story, and it works like this. Every time you can click on any of these and the image gets larger, you can scroll down and there will be more information. Links to this one links to a theme, another theme essay. It might link to a place on the island. It gives you an explanation and a photo credit and a link usually on each of these 93 items. Now I must say that the first draft of the timeline, deciding which items to include and so forth, this first draft was written by a professional heritage interpretive writer who was subcontracted by me through Mentormon. But I, the researcher, did a second draft of his writing to try to make it more in a more active voice. I recast the language and to make it more intellectually accessible. In addition, I did all of the photo research for this, which took several months actually, because we did not have a photo budget, so I had to find free and low-cost imagery in many different sources. This is a Creative Commons piece that I found, but there are lots of different sources for the imagery here. Some I found through local councils, some I found local reenactors who would allow me to use their photos, some come from Wikimedia Commons, some come from the County Council. Some of these are stock images, so I thought that was a really interesting way of illustrating this particular point. So we can, the English Tudor dynasty derives from an Anglesey family, and the way that started is that one of the Anglesey rebels, this was a Glyndŵr rebel, someone who actually took part in the rebellion in 1405 against the English takeover of Wales. His son married a London courtier, and he marries Catherine de Valois, who was the widow of Henry. So this is actually how the Tudor line is founded. And I couldn't find a way to illustrate that sort of romance, so here's a stock image that I thought gave it some interest and character. And as you see, we're moving through here. These are all important events in the timeline of Anglesey. Here's an Anglesey-born mathematician. It's very difficult to find an image of him, especially one that I could use for free. I found one in the public domain after several weeks of searching. For this one, I found a website where people, it's crowdsourced images of churches all over the UK, and I happened to find one there of this church at Rosemere, which helped tremendously. So I'm making this to document all the work that was done and to show the extent. Of course, if I'm going too fast, feel free to pause your video at any time or to visit the website live at www.angleseyheritage.com, and you can look at the timeline in your own time. Thank you for your attention.